podcast. I'm your host, Dan Smith. Alongside me, as always, my brother from the same mother, Mike Smith.
Hey, Dan. In
Hey,
a new
man.
studio tonight.
I know it's under construction, as you can tell. But in fact,
Studio.
off air, you just helped me. I'm like you with the weather, with low pressure system
Right. Isn't
coming
it
in.
rough?
It's hard, yeah.
You got Beauty and the Beast.
Got a signed.
Ah,
That's a signed painting that Paige O'Hara, who was the original voice of Belle,
in
did.
the animated,
That's right.
as she played Belle.
She's an amazing artist, and
She's a Disney legend.
she is literally a Disney legend. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, trying to get this studio together. And what was your studio? We can't use like 8H. Isn't that Rockefeller Center? That's
Yeah, it
Saturday
is.
Night Live or something.
Yeah, mine's 8B. I'm
8B.
below them. I can usually hear
All
them.
right. I'll say 8C or something. So, what, February 4th, 2021.
Yep.
And we a little bit of a spontaneous episode here as far as the recording. We're talking about this new movie, The Little Things, starring Denzel Washington, Jared Leto, and of course Freddie Mercury. Rami Malek. Sorry.
Rami Malek. As you can see, I have
Yeah,
Philadelphia,
nice.
Malcolm X,
Oh yeah,
jazz singer that helped me win the trivia.
the trivia.
And then I've got Training Day.
Love Training
Just a
Day.
small sampling of
Love Training Day.
Denzel's work.
And you referenced Philadelphia in the trivia as well because of the whole. Remember we
That's
talking about
right.
Hank's nominations and
That's
whatnot,
right.
and you were like, "Well, he won for Philadelphia." And
And I think Denzel should have won for Philadelphia.
yeah, and you want to?
It's similar to the blog I wrote online about Rain Man. I think I think Training Day was similar. You know, Tom Hanks lost all the weight. He was the sick person. So the sympathy vote kind of goes there.
Right.
But the real acting was done by Denzel, if you ask me. That's my opinion.
Yeah,
They were both great.
and that blog is out there now. In fact, if you're not following us, make sure that you do. You can find all things Oh Brother on our official website, which is OHB as in brother podcast.com. ohbpodcast.com. You get access to everything there. We're continuing to improve that space as well. So you'll find actually a new exciting feature we've got on there now, a section on film reviews. These are, Mike, you want to kind of describe what the concept is there?
Yeah, what it is like, say you're thinking of watching a movie and you just want a quick take on it. Our quick take on it, I should say.
Right.
And that's what it is. It's basically like less than a paragraph. I'm going to pump out a lot of them. You'll pump some out. And hopefully we'll get a nice library. We've already got 6 up in less than a week.
Right.
You know, I'm hoping to have like 100 by the end of the year. And it'll be, like a quick take. It's a good way. I always used to watch Siskel and Ebert to see, like, if it's really bad and they both give it 0 or 1 star. I know I'm pretty safe avoiding it.
Now you'll notice on there, because we've got our ratings, right? So there's a kind of a 5-star scale on there.
Yeah.
But I notice I'm like, haven't seen that yet. Haven't seen that yet.
Yeah. Sometimes it's just Mike.
Right. There's no score for me at all.
Mike, Dan. Mike.
Although, go and check out the Mulan rating.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I don't even think you've seen my rating on Mulan. Because you sent me that write up, and then you sort of implied
I put a question mark
right
next to it.
I think you'd be surprised to see,
right,
or not surprised to see what my rating was.
Yeah, I'll check it out.
So again, ohbpodcast.com. Got the blog out there, the one you just mentioned on the Oscar snubs, in our opinion. Rain Man's like one of the number one snubs I can think of as far as Tom Cruise goes.
Yeah, we've talked about that ever since that movie, that award season, which is way back.
Yeah. Yeah.
What year was it? 89?
Yeah. And it's to take nothing away from Dustin Hoffman, obviously,
right,
but it's just, if you go back and watch that film, Tom Cruise is just, it's an absolutely Oscar worthy performance.
He just starts as this cynical jerk
Yeah.
And he's got this long, slow arc
Yep.
to like a loving brother.
Yeah. It's amazing. It's amazing
Yeah.
performance. One of
It's a
his
great,
best.
great.
So, also our YouTube channel. Make sure that you're subscribing to our YouTube channel and liking our videos out there and giving us some feedback. You can drop a comment. Yeah, Mike's always hawking the thumbs up, so make sure that you give us a thumbs up. but we, but we want to get into this, the little things with Denzel. This was directed by John Lee Hancock, who I was surprised to find. I actually, of course, he's got a lot of familiar films, many of which I know you've seen, many of
Mhm,
which I haven't seen, like The Founder,
mhm.
The Blind Side, and some others. So he's got
He
a,
worked with Denzel before too.
oh, did he? Okay.
Yeah, I forget which movie,
Okay.
but they did
Yeah.
work together before.
His directing resume is fairly small, I believe. I think he's maybe done maybe about 10 films behind the camera, but
Yeah.
um so yeah. So do you want to like give a synopsis first of the film and then we can sort of give our take on it?
Yeah. It's called The Little Things. Denzel Washington plays a cop. He's been a cop for 15, 20 years, more than that.
Now it's interesting. The last film we did, Let Him Go, we've got this now, this sheriff theme that's
That's right.
coming into
So
play.
his boss, he's just a kind of what you would call like a flatfoot, I guess. He's just a street cop basically, but he's sent to LA or a bigger district to pick up some evidence in a case against somebody in their district that's pretty significant. He had to get these boots because they were important to convict somebody
Right.
in their case. And while he's there, the guy cops a plea. So that case is dead. There's no point for him to get the boots anymore. So he's just going to turn around and come home. But while he's there, he meets another cop played by Rami Malek,
Hmm.
who actually replaced him. Denzel used to be in that job. So he meets the detective and they have a contentious relationship at the beginning.
Well, it starts off what he's Raimi's character is having or attempting to have Denzel's truck towed
Yeah,
in
that's
a
right. That's right. Because he's parked blocking in a car. He's blocking
mhm,
in Raimi's car.
right.
But and then Raimi's giving a press conference. And Denzel walks into the press conference, which, as a speaker, and you've done many orientations, when somebody's walking around, they catch your sight of eye. Even if you don't look at them or pay attention to them, you see that movement.
Yeah.
So Denzel, I think, was teasing him a little bit, getting in his getting in his press conference, and then he whispers something to another cop at the door. So that kind of gives Raimi another little, nudge, like, what's he going to do my job? Or, what is he going to solve the case? Makes a couple of, comments like that. Then they wind up working together.
Hmm.
It winds up, he invites him along. Raimi, right after that press conference, they say, hey, you got to go here, look at some evidence. We got another victim. So he invites Denzel to come with him and says, "You want to, teach me something, Kojak, or something like that."
Yeah.
And he actually does teach him something. He does, something that Raimi and everyone else overlooked. Denzel doesn't overlook, and hence the title of the movie,
Little things.
"The Little Things." It's the little things that get these guys caught, these
Hmm.
criminals caught.
And a parallel story is that Denzel is also caught up in this crime
Ca-
from 5 years earlier that he was a
Case from his
detective on.
past.
Correct.
Yes. Is it only 5 years?
5 years, yeah. And
Okay.
this is set in like, so this was, I believe, if I did my math right, it was like 1995, 96, because it opens in 1990. There's a
Yes.
opening scene that takes place in night, the titling literally comes up and says 90.
Yes.
And then there's a reference later, of 5 years prior. So that would put
And
us at 1995.
something up front that's kind of significant is this was written in 1993. So it
Hmm.
was written around that time. So probably when it was written, like Fat Man, that was written. See, I had to get that in for Johnny.
There it is. Ding, ding,
Uh,
ding, ding, ding.
we got that. Fat Man was written 15 years ago, and then things change. It was
Right.
originally, Mel Gibson couldn't have played Fat Man. He was too skinny. So that's the setup. So you want to take us into it?
Sure. Yeah, we can
Your
get right
take?
into it. Um, not a real not this, maybe throw this one up on the film reviews section, and that number's not going to go too high for me on that 5 point rating scale. I found myself, we talked about this with News of the World.
Yeah.
The pacing, I just found myself, it was interesting because I felt like there was I could feel tension throughout the movie. I felt like there was a good, they did a good job of building tension throughout. I felt
Yes.
that.
Yes.
I really felt that. But at the same time, I was bored.
Hmm.
I was bored. It was kind of strange. And, as much as I wanted to like, uh, Jared Leto's character in the film, it got to be a little over the top, the things that were taking place as it unfolded. And I
Yeah,
just was not
Jared Leno, he's a
Jared Leno
yeah.
on the Tonight Show with Jared
My
Leno.
tongue got stuck with the T. I know it's Leto, but he has a tendency to try to be over quirky than he really
I mean, I
is.
liked I liked that about his character. It just the circumstances they put him in and the way that part of the story unfolded just to me was over the top. It just seemed a little far fetched. In
Well,
fact, without giving anything away and spoiling the film, there's a scene between he and Rami Malek. Uh, it's kind of latter part of the film, and you'll know what I'm talking about when they're on screen together for quite a while.
yeah.
I just there were so many plot holes in that to me that I thought, okay, why would he do that? Why would this happen? That certainly would, not be believable. Just a lot of things like that I had a problem with.
If I was to say David Fincher and the movie he did with Kevin Spacey and Brad Pitt,
Which
do
one are
you
we
know the
thinking
name of
about?
it? Um, the movie where
I'm looking it up.
okay, yeah, it's David Fincher. But look up Brad Pitt. Gwyneth Paltrow is in it, plays his wife.
Oh, are you talking about Seven?
Yes. God, that was ridiculous.
Oh, okay.
So think of Seven
Right, right.
and then think about what you just said and see if you can kind of make that connection. No.
No,
All right.
no. I just,
I don't want to go into it too much
I
either
know that's the
because
thing. This is difficult
this
unless
is
we
got to
did
be
a
it's brand new.
spoiler alert, and then we could
Yeah.
rip it open. But uh,
It's
yeah,
very similar to that movie. And
yeah, without the payoff though.
well, the payoff's different. It's the payoff's the opposite. And
It's
this is
weak.
really going to confuse people watching
It's weak. It's weak.
because
It's weak.
um that sequence, the way I read it, and you're right, it's like why would he go for a ride with, and that's what we're talking about here. I don't think that's spoiling much. Why would Rami Malek get in a car and go for a drive with this nutso
I'll give you a couple of
alone?
I'll give you a couple of other examples. in the
Okay.
writing and in the story that are very minor that would not impact this at all. Early in the film, there's again, they're trying to solve these murders that are taking place, all of these women that are getting murdered. And so in within the first 20, 30 minutes of the film, there's a scene with a girl jogging with her male friend, and they're jogging, and then they kind of stop and they're like, okay, same time tomorrow. And he's like, yeah, let me just take you the rest of the way. She goes, it's 3 blocks, I'll be fine. And then
Right.
she takes a right off into the total darkness, into like, it's just so unbelievable to me. Why would you, of course something bad's gonna happen. It's like,
Yeah,
so
that was a little bit.
I was gonna say to you, in a movie, when you have that jump scare, when the cat, oh, it's the cat,
Yeah,
there was a lot of that. There was a lot of that for me.
I don't disagree with that point at all. I think you're right. I think when you, because she winds up getting killed. That's
Mhm.
not a spoiler, because if you don't realize she's getting killed at that very moment, you're not really a pretty a you're not good at details.
Right.
Because that they could have had it, they should have had a blinking light go off. This is when she gets killed. This is when she gets killed.
Right. It's true.
So yeah, that, if that's your problem, I see it. But I think what some people are going to have a problem with is the ending, and I didn't have that problem at the end.
I
Um,
liked what they were attempting to do at the end. I liked that conceptually, but I just, to get there, ugh, it just was weak to me. And look, Denzel, he's money in the bank. So I don't care what you say. When you know a movie's coming out and he's in it, you're gonna watch
right,
it. You're gonna
right,
watch it. And he's always good.
right.
He's always good. But I just felt like you got three pretty heavy hitters in this film.
Yes.
But it's another case where it felt like I did with Let Him Go, where the story around them, it wasn't strong enough to carry it for me. That's just my take.
Yeah, I think I liked the movie. Not, it's not a five, I'll tell you that. But I did like it. I
Better
thought
than
there was,
Mulan?
I liked it a lot better than Mulan.
No, come on. Now you're just
Um,
being silly.
what did I give that? Like a 1.5 or
It was hard.
one?
Yeah, that was disrespectful.
but the I was kind of surprised at the casting of Denzel, because ultimately when you look back on this movie, it's really it's really kind of an indictment on the cops, doing,
Yes.
getting away with
I
stuff,
had that same thought. I was going to say that at the top. Yeah,
right?
they're
And
probably
I
not going to be
thought,
big fans of this film.
yeah, so I was surprised that you would put a black male
That's
in
a
that
great
role.
that's a great point. That's a
So
great point.
yeah, that did surprise me, but I felt tension all through the
I did too.
movie.
Like I said, it was very interesting because that was palpable for me throughout pretty much the whole thing. But I felt like it never got paid off.
Yeah, and I think it did. That's where we disagree. I think the payoff at the end, uh, I think it was a little bit tough to see it, um, but I did feel it. I did
Yeah.
think it paid off.
And so
Maybe,
folks, we will have a spoiler filled conversation when the
yeah,
mics turn off after this, because
yeah,
I do have
exactly.
some more specific things to say. But
And we can talk about it down the road, like
yeah,
after we give people a few couple of weeks to see it. We
yeah.
can kind of talk about this a little more in detail, because I don't want to ruin the movie for anyone. I don't want to give away things. And
No, but this is one where we would, you would recommend seeing it, whereas I would not.
yeah,
We like, just like News of the World. You said no, I said yeah. This case,
yeah,
I'm saying no, and I think you probably recommend it.
I'm recommending it mildly. I think again the performances were all good. I had the same problem with Jared Leto's uh character.
Jared Leto. Yeah, and again, I actually liked what he brought to that character, that quirky. It just was a little over the top, but I liked what he was going for. It was, and I don't know, did he have something going on with his teeth? Were those his real teeth? There was something just slightly off, it seemed, and I couldn't
The
tell if
teeth
he
in his stomach.
prosthetic or something.
I was wondering if
Right.
his stomach was real.
Was that a pillow or right,
Yeah, because he
right.
was so skinny otherwise, except he had like a belly.
Yeah. It was like distended. It was kind of
And
interesting.
I was asking myself throughout, did he gain weight for this
But there's
or?
a, I think it's in one of the trailers, so and it's not spoiling anything. But there's a moment when he and Denzel. It's actually the first time their characters meet on
Yeah,
screen,
yeah.
and just some very cool subtle things like Leto did there, where Denzel's got a flashlight. He's kind of looking around, this area where Jared Leto is, and it's just the way that Leto kind of holds his hand up to block the light, and he's kind of always pointing with his hand and his fingers. He's doing some, again, very quirky stuff.
Plus Denzel's
He's
purposely
flashing the light in
blinding
his
him.
eye.
Yeah, he's
Exactly.
blinding him.
So he's kind of like, there's some, I don't know. I liked his performance
Yeah,
actually, but
just like when he was, who was it he waved to? Was it Denzel? When he waved, he just gives a little wave,
I
or
think
was
it
it
was
Rami?
Rami when
Yeah,
he's drinking a Shirley Temple to go.
yes, and he gives him a little wave.
Yeah,
You're right. I kind of liked that part of it, but I just thought it was overdone a little
me too.
bit,
Me too.
and
Yeah.
but yeah,
And I will also say, we've mentioned this before. There's no need for this to be a slightly over a 2 hour film. There just isn't. It was like 2 hours and 7 minutes,
yeah,
way too long.
I'm with you on that. You know, it's funny because movies used to be 90 minutes. That was you know, studio heads would scream at directors, get it under 90 minutes, get it. Now it's like
That was the sweet spot.
that's the sweet spot for getting people in and out of the theater. You make more money. You could show it 5 times a night
Hmm.
versus four, or God forbid, a Godfather where it's two,
Right.
so yeah, I mean 90 minutes, but some stories take more, like the Avengers stories, it just takes more time to
Yeah.
get
Well,
all the people screen time. There's so many stars.
yeah.
And I think this was some of that. There's three big stars, and to get them enough screen time.
Yeah, and you're gonna get what you're looking for out of Denzel, as you always do.
Yeah.
He has some just awesome scenes, and um,
And I think
he's
Rami
magic on
Malek's
screen.
really becoming a big star. I
Oh
mean, he
yeah,
already is.
yeah,
But I think, he started with the television show, basically getting notoriety
right.
from that. And man, his career is like on jet fuel. It's just he's
Yeah,
really good.
yeah. It
And
was a
he
good. It was a
always
good.
he's
It was a
always a
good
little
pairing.
different.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
was a good pairing.
that
Those
was a
two, I
good
thought.
pairing. I thought, and I don't know, does he have an accent, Rami Malek, in real life?
I mean, I think like he sounds in that.
Yeah,
It's a
he always
little.
sounds a
There's
little
something with
different.
it. Yeah, a little bit of an accent, if you want to call it. But all the performances were good. I mean, they all played off each other very well. The three main uh, actors. There was some
Yeah,
decent supporting performances in there too. But for me, it's not one I'm going to recommend. I felt like it fell short, despite the strength of what Denzel brings to the screen. I just, as much as I love him, I just felt overall the story was weak. So
yeah, and I think it could have been tightened up a little bit, but not as much as maybe you think. I
yeah,
like the problem with the Tom Hanks movie is it just I knew the ending, and it was like, come on, let's just hurry up and get there.
and I enjoyed that
And then they
film
would
more.
have like they would have like a good scene, a good sequence, and I'd say,
Yeah,
okay, that's good. Is it? No, we're just back on the road again.
right.
That was the kind of movie. So that one easily could have taken a half hour. This one maybe 10 minutes
All right.
to tighten it up.
So coming off the trivia rematch episode, this is a split decision here.
Another split decision.
Split decision, yeah. Anything else you want to
This
say
is
about the film, or
no, I would love to, for people to give us their opinion if they've seen it. I
Hmm.
saw it on Tiana's list,
Hmm.
and I wrote her a comment. I said, "Did you go see this in the theater?" Because she put it up. I think she said watching now, and it was like the day of.
That was right.
And
Well,
and I
which is a good point because we've talked about this is one of those where HBO Max, right?
that exactly right.
You're getting it the same day that it hits the theaters.
Yeah, and
So
that's what she wrote back. She said, "No, no, theaters are still closed."
right,
And that's when I realized it was HBO Max, so we'd be able to see it too.
right, exactly,
So,
exactly.
and we're making an effort here to jump on movies that might, because the award season's starting.
Yeah,
So we're trying to jump on the movies, and this one's been mentioned. Jared's been mentioned as possible supporting actor.
yeah. And I would imagine you'll hear us talking about probably in the next couple episodes. We'll be pontificating and discussing. You know, there's multiple women that are up, you know, for
Yes,
some nominations,
directing
directing, right? And then also circling back to a blog from a while back
way
now,
back.
we talked about the inclusion criteria, the diversity criteria for the Oscars. So, you know, I think it'd be worth diving back into that as we start talking about some of these contenders.
And when I look at what people are putting out there as these are the best films of the year, I cringe at a few of them.
Yeah, it's an
There's a
interesting,
few of them that don't belong on the list. And
right?
because of these inclusion guidelines, I mean, there's not a lot of fan favorites on that list, that people are like, I can't wait to see that one in the theater,
Hmm.
you know. But there's also some great performances that
Yeah.
people have missed that maybe with this HBO deal they're going to get a chance to see.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. So we'll jump back into that for sure. You know, I wanted to mention I was thinking that with Black History Month, and I've had this photograph propped up in my studio here for quite a while, and I thought, oh, I just realized this is an occasion I had to meet Danny Glover out at Disney during Black History Month, and
You
I
met
don't
him
know if you can see.
twice.
Yeah, I met. Yeah, and I don't know if you'll be able to see this. Well, yeah, I guess you can see that.
Oh, that's a great shot. I've never seen
I
that.
was a lot younger and a little heavier, but
I've never seen that
you've never seen
picture.
that photo.
I've never seen it.
He came to the college to recite Langston Hughes poetry, which was
And he was in all
mind blowing.
African garb, and I
Mind
missed
blowing.
that.
Yeah, it was
I was in
incredible.
California and I missed it.
But yeah,
I
this was
didn't
Epcot.
I've never seen that picture.
Yeah, so I've had it propped up here, and I said, "Oh, well, it was actually during Black History Month. That's
Why
like
isn't it
19.
framed
It's
on
like
your
1990.
wall?
I got to blow it up. I got to blow it
Yeah.
up. You
Well,
know,
no, I could see it fine.
maybe I'll put it up on the Oh Brother Studio.
Well,
You
now
know,
he looks like he's
possibly.
dancing with Belle, but
That's true. Well, you know, maybe a recasting, perhaps.
I think of all the people we've been lucky to meet,
Yeah.
and this was years ago before cell phones,
Right.
and I never carried a camera, so I have zero pictures.
Yeah.
Like, how many pictures? If you look for a picture of me, uh, I should be like being investigated because there's no pictures of me out there, and I always avoided a camera. But yeah, that's a great shot. I've never seen it.
Yeah, it's a great shot. And I have a really phenomenal shot I actually have like an 8 by 10 of it or something. I'm going to frame, probably put on the studio wall with me and Anthony Hopkins, which is one of my prized possessions.
I'm jealous of that one
That's a
too.
phenomenal movie called Instinct, folks. If you haven't seen that movie and you can find it, it's a little hard to find from the
Wasn't it
90s.
extinct?
No, Instinct.
It's instinct. Okay.
Instinct, yeah. It was him and Cuba Gooding Jr. and Donald Sutherland, and that was an occasion I got to
It's a
meet him
good
on the set.
cast.
It
Good
was a good cast.
cast.
It's I like the movie, not a great movie,
No,
but their performances were so good, and Cuba and Sir Anthony just played so well off each other. It was and Cuba was just coming off that Jerry Maguire fame, and you know, the hype was
there's a
crazy
movie coming up. What's it called? History?
with Sir Anthony.
Yes.
Yeah,
That we definitely. It's not out yet. I think another week or so. So hopefully we'll be able to cover that. Although this is a real good test run as far as how difficult it is to review a movie without giving spoilers.
Mm-hmm.
You
Mm-hmm.
know, you're really trying to this should have been probably 5 minutes.
Right. Yeah, it's hard to do. It's hard to do.
It's really hard to do.
I told you that I had just watched Across the Universe, and
Mhm.
Julie Taymor directed that.
Oh yeah,
Did
Julie Taymor.
she direct Titus?
Yes, she did.
Okay, I thought so with Anthony and Jessica Lange.
And she also directed The Lion King on Broadway,
Exactly. I knew it. Yeah. Yeah.
which I've seen 3 times.
Yeah, she's great. She's
Yeah,
great.
she's a fantastic director.
All right, folks. Well, there you have it. That's our spoiler-free extended review of The Little Things.
Check out The Little Things, folks, because it is the little thing.
Save your 2 hours, folks, and go watch Mulan on Disney
Oh,
Plus. That's
God.
a highly recommended film for me. And once again, if you're not following us, go out to our official website, which is ohb as in brother podcast.com, ohbpodcast.com. You get all things Oh Brother there, access to our blog, our new film reviews section, all our social media. You can subscribe to our YouTube channel and smash that thumbs up button, like Mike always says. And we'd be appreciative if you do that for us. So that's going to do it for another episode of the Oh Brother podcast. I've been your host, Dan Smith. Alongside me, as always, my brother from the same mother, Mike Smith. And we will see you next time.
It's a little thing. See you next time.